Hi, I'm Lynn and I wanted to show you how to use my signature cutting guides so that you can duplicate all the art that I've created. Once you know how to use one cutting guide, you'll understand how I do all of my cutting guides and you'll be able to create so much art and be excited about all that you can get out of one kit. So let's get started. First of all, today's kit that I'm going to show you is called Nevermore. It's a beautiful Halloween kit, but if you go to Disney, I'm sure the Haunted Mansion or Tower of Terror, you might be able to use these pages for a Disney theme as well. So there are 8 pages that I created, and the 2 bonus pages, now these are optional. I used my hero using a Cricut cut, but you know what? I realized with the gray and orange, it could be a mummy page, and you know what? Even purple and black, if you go to the Mardi Gras, you can actually use this paper pack for something like that too. So think outside the box. You don't always have to duplicate everything I do, but you have the basics, the bones of how to create the layout. So this is the paper pack that we're going to be using, Nevermore. And we're also using the complements. Now the complements have 2 stickers as well as some vellum and craft pieces in there. My kit also includes, is enamel gems, would be the gray and white enamel gems that we're using to duplicate it, as well as the Nevermore assortment. These are so pretty. I don't know if you could see it really close, but they have a diamond faceted front and they're adhesive. So I really like those, and some of the kits have that kind of look. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the cutting guide. This is what it looks like. It's pretty detailed, right? But please, I want you to read the top when you get a cutting guide from me. If you were sitting with me, I would actually walk away and ask you to read those couple of things. And I know people don't like to read, but it's something that's important because I let you know how many pages you're going to be creating, what extra cardstock that you might need, as well as what color inks we are using if we're doing anything with stamping and distressing and things like that. So that's always up there. I also let you know that there's a link that you can join. If you were receiving this via email, that if you clicked on the link, it would bring you right to the artwork so you could have it right in front of you. I let you know what your cardstock bases are. Item number 2. It says cardstock bases 1 and 2 are colonial white. And now I wanted to let you know I've already laid them out. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are whisper. 5 and 6 is colonial white. And the bonus pages of 7 and 8 are slate. Now, slate is something you could either have on hand or use another gray, but that was something you'd have to purchase separately this particular month. It says, as you cut each piece below, pile it onto individual bases for each page. So as I cut each piece, I'm actually going to put it on those pages. I don't want you to take a pencil and write on the back of it. This will be faster, simpler, easier if I can help you organize your system and following along with how I do it. It really, in 20 minutes, you can actually cut all this paper once you get really good at cutting. Now, there's also abbreviations. R in a circle, the registered trademark, for me means reverse. So if I had you cut the stripe and it says R, that means we're actually using the back piece of it. You'll see as we cut. NCS means cardstock. B means bonus pages. So if you have a cutting guide in front of you, as you're reading the top, you'll see that. And cut off zip strips. Okay, every piece of our pattern paper has a zip strip. Don't throw those out. They're great borders. They're approximately 1/2 inch that you'll cut off. But you can save them. I use them when I can on the layouts, or you can save them for another project. So please don't cut them off. It actually tells you on the back of the zip strip what paper pack you're working with and what are the colors that coordinate with this paper pack. So that's always helpful information. All right, so here's how I want you to organize it. Before we even cut 1 stitch of paper, I'm going to have you put each piece of paper in a pile. I want you to put it in a pile before we even get started. But if you were looking at this, every single square is 1 piece of paper. And I tell you, the first piece of paper is the multi-stripes. So that's this pattern. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it upside down. Okay, the next one is another multi-stripe. So let me grab that. And I'm going to place it here. Sunset orange cardstock. And if you were looking at the photos, I actually labeled everything so you would know. But sunset is orange. So that goes next. purple black spiders. Orange black netting. Yeah, I have to come up with these names, you know. So there's orange and black netting. And orange and black netting number 2, okay? But it says reversed to the gray medallion side. So that's there. Black cardstock, eggplant cardstock, gray gear schematics. That's my gray gear schematics. Like I said, I have to come up with these names. And slate cardstock 1 and bonus. So I'm going to grab this one. And a bonus is for the bonus page as well as a colonial white. So hang on a second. Because guess what? The bonus pages were not on slate. They're on colonial white. So let me switch that out. I knew there was slate somewhere. So that's why it's important to read and understand exactly what's going on. So slate and colonial white. And slate 2. All right, so let's get started. So now we have all our papers in this pile. We're going to turn it back over, and now everything should be in order. So this will be the first piece of paper we're going to cut. Now here's the key. If you're looking at my diagram, and I'm hoping, let's see if I can get close enough so you can see. 8 by 8, reversed for a certain page, which is page 3. 8 is the first number typed. Therefore, the first cut is 8 inches all the way down, and we will get these 2 cuts out of it. And then if you were looking at the next cut, they're in red because it was really hard to type in these little lines, so I tell you exactly what cuts they are. But the key is, the first number I type is your first cut all the way down. So let's show you what that means. First of all, when you have a paper trimmer, open it up so the arm comes out. Now I'm ready, so I'm going to have to turn this around, and I'll have you see a little bit more if you can. Okay. I love this paper trimmer because it goes up to 1.5 inches, and I like to use this long lipped cut. And I'm going to cut off that zip strip. You want to save those zip strips because actually I will tell you what we'll use them for on the back of the cutting guide. Now, it also says stripes this way on the paper. So I want my stripes this way, horizontally, in my paper trimmer. And the first cut is 8 by 8, right? So it's 8 inches all the way down. I am never going to ask you to stop and turn your paper. It's always going to be a full cut. Now we turn it, and it says 8 by 8. So I'm going to go to 8 inches. Cut it. Here's my 8 by 8. Reverse it to this side for page 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put it there. 8 by 4, that's what's left. Reverse to the black for page 4. That goes there. Okay. Now, it says cut strips. 3/4 by 11 for page 1. 3/4 by 11. Now, all these little strips. Just take it one step at a time. So I'm going to go to my 3/4 line. If you're not sure, these are 1/4 of an inch, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and then you see the 1. So 3/4 by 11. I'm just going to continue with the program and just follow along. And on my cutting guide, this 3/4 by 11 stripe goes to page 1. This little piece that's left over goes to page 5. I use everything. 3/4 by 11, again. And it's really important to understand the, when I say stripes are going horizontal or vertical, because you want your paper cut the right way. So this one goes to page 2. And yes, that little scrap, also page 5. The next cut is also 3/4 by 10. So we're at 3/4. And I'm going to go to 10 inches. This piece goes to page 1. And the leftover goes to page 6. I said I use everything pretty much when I can. I'll figure something out to do with it. I know that you like to use all your pieces, so let's try to use them when we can. 3/4 by 10 goes to page 2. And this little piece here goes to page 6. I'll show you what I mean. You'll see here, those little pieces are like their little hinges. Can you see that there? That's what they're for. All right, this is scrap. Not much scrap left. All right, multi-stripe again. So now I'm on the second grid. I'm going to cut my zip strip off and save that. So now we're on this page right here. It's a 4x12 reversed for page 6. It's really everything's cut. And it's once again, it says the stripes are going this way. This way horizontally means we want it that way in your paper trimmer. So my first cut is 4x12, reversed to the black side for page 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I have 4x4. Reverse for page 5, and then a 4x4, that's a stripe for page 7, and that piece is scrap. And then the last piece is the 4x12 for the bonus page 8. Okay, so now we've cut 2 pieces. So that gives you a great idea of what you can do. I'll go back and cut sunset, but I wanted to show you the black and purple spiders here, this page. That's this pattern here. First, let me cut off my zip strip. All right. Right here, if you were looking at it, there's a certain way I want your spiders to get cut in the put in the trimmer. So it says spiders are going this way. Yep, it's one of those things. Okay, so I want my spiders. So here was the zip strip. So here's where I want the spiders, just like this. They're going this way. So the first cut is 3 inches. And it says 3x3, 3x3, 3x3. They're all 3x3s. So let's just cut them all. So there's 4 3x3s. And I'm not worried about this because this is actually going to get sponged in the slate. So page 1, reverse page 1, page 2, reverse page 2. So you see how that works? It really, really works great like this if you just follow along. The next cut is a 3x3 again. So my 3 inches all the way down, cut my 3x3, reverse it for page 2. And then if you were looking at the cutting guide, we're going to save this piece to do our spooky Cricut cut. If you own Cricut, that's what you can do with it, or you can create your own title. And then the last cut on this, actually not the last cut, but there's a 3x12 reversed for page 7. And then 2 3/4 by 12s. So here's my 3/4 by 12 for page 3. And what I find helpful is that if you had your computer in front of you, you could be looking at the layouts on my blog so that you can feel comfortable as you cut where it belongs. But once you get really good at this, it goes really quickly. All right, I want to show you the netting, orange and black netting. Sometimes it's kind of hard to explain to you about, cut that first, the direction of the paper. So I try to do my best. All right. If you were looking at it, the netting, it says the ovals are going a certain way. This one here. And it's basically, if you were looking at it, if you turn it, I want the ovals the long way. And that's it. And that's how you get to cut everything that you need. So I'll continue to cut, but that gives you an idea on how to use my cutting guide. Whoops, sorry. And on the back, I also explained to you where the zip strips go and how to use the Cricut, explaining to you about the Cricut cuts so that you have everything in front of you that you need in order to duplicate the artwork. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have found this very helpful for cutting and using my cutting guide. And remember, it's all about the first number is the first cut all the way down, and you just follow each page. Thanks so much.